Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today with me is Shekhar Iyer as the things are heating up all over the country as far as political parties are concerned. This is all perhaps is a lead up to the 2024 election. We have a lot of hot items to share with you. But first, let's welcome the guest of the day, Shekhar Iyer. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, first off, let us talk a little bit about Karnataka elections. Modi has actually camped himself there now. They are saying that he's going to be there till the election date, which is very unusual. A prime minister, I don't know if he can work and campaign at the same time. It is a grueling campaign and it's hot also. Now it is summer. So we don't know how he is going to do both. But at any rate, this self-goal, this Bajrang Dal self-goal, what do you make of it, sir? I have a small introduction, but first you go ahead and tell us your opening statement, and then I have a small thing to tell about this.
Sir, it is indeed surprising. Congress had it going very good. They had come up with those 5 or 6 promises, and the fact that there is a anti-incumbency heavily weighing on the BJP, and Karnataka has never repeated in the recent times a government. They always go for a change. So the Congress was having it good. BJP has had problems. They removed Yediyurappa, brought Basavaraj Bommai, who has not been as effective as once Yediyurappa was perceived to be. I mean, there were several things. Then they went in for a big overall, got new people to come, 72 new faces, huge revolt in different districts. With things were looking really, even today, I would say things are good for the Congress. But yesterday's release of the manifesto, where a single sentence has made big headlines, and it's all over the country. The all over the country, the Congress has said it will ban Bajrang Dal, and action will be taken on it, just as action had been taken against the Popular Front of India. And of course, they try to explain yesterday. No, we are talking not of Bajrang Dal, but we are saying all those institutions which are indulging in crime, disturbing peace, etc. I think by afternoon they realized that, and within an hour or so, Prime Minister was quick to catch. Look, these are the very people who locked up Ram Lala, the baby Ram in Ayodhya. The dispute was lingering for such a long time. Now they want to lock up people who shout Bajrang Dal, Bajrang Bali. Those who hail Lord Hanuman are now going to be jailed. Sir, this is going to be, I would say, some kind of a self-goal, because there are a lot of undecided voters in Karnataka. And many people are upset with BJP. We have to concede that. They have been very unhappy with the governance issues, about corruption, about a lot of things. But when it comes to tackling Islamist extremists, when it comes to tackling or acting as a buffer against these appeasement politics of the so-called secular parties, people have said, okay, there is only party that can do that, so BJP. So those voters are now going to again revisit their antipathy towards BJP this election, and may swing this side. Sir, already Prime Minister Modi, his plan has been in every state election. It is the last 10 days he spends a lot of time. The first a small goal was, when Kharge called him the poisonous snake. So Prime Minister immediately, took that issue on his hand and twisted, saying, look, they are calling me the poisonous snake, but there is a poisonous snake around Lord Shiva's neck also, and people are the Lord Shiva, and I am grateful to protect their interests. So that was the first goal, and then they tried to say, no, it is not Prime Minister Modi, it was meant for BJP ideology. Now this one, at a press conference in a written thing, sir, this what I understand, this manifesto had a lot of direction from the Gandhi first family, who are very upset with the BJP, who are very upset with all Hindu organizations. Apparently, this has been work of people who involves a lot of central leaders. But imagine the impact across the country, sir. Sir, Bajrang Dal of late has not been as active it was earlier, ever since Ram Temple issue was settled. After all, Bajrang Dal was a group created by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad in '84, as to get young people involved in this Ram Temple issue. And subsequently, what had happened, earlier they had people like Vinay Katiyar, who was also made a BJP member of parliament. But over the years, the influence of Bajrang Dal on BJP or has been, I would say, on the decline to a great extent. Of course, some vigilante groups, tying a saffron headband and then going about trying to prevent cow smuggling and sometimes beating up people, lynching people. That had given it a bad name. And in Karnataka, you have had a number of clashes between people who say they are Bajrang Dal and Islamist groups. There have been killings of one another, and there is a quite tension in the coastal district of Bajrang Dal. But Bajrang Dal, as such, sir, at a time when the temple is going to open in mid-January, when the nation will be caught in a fervor over Lord Ram. I mean, this is going to be phenomenal. Let me tell you. I mean, all political parties, no matter what alliances they are stitching up now, after the opening of Ram Temple issue, it would be downright foolish to talk of because after all, Bajrang Dal, you have revived something which was already in a moribund state. So this is something, and the impact, sir. Forget one election. What about the northern states? You have all the northern states, but whether it is Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, and of course Uttar Pradesh. So I think I saw a lot of glee among top BJP strategists. They are very happy. Look, this is a grand thing that has happened. We were actually gasping for oxygen. Prime Minister was trying to give some. Now we got it, loads of it.
Well, we can imagine that the BJP rank and file. In fact, I'm hearing that VHP is planning some marches also. The interesting fact is that after 1992, Bajrang Dal was indeed banned for a year, but the then Congress government, that is Narasimha Rao government, lifted the ban after 1 year. So it's all done and dusted. It's not. So this has been there for a while, but they have, like you said, have become quite inactive. But now I'm hearing that they are going to be having some, rallies and marches and so on. So actually, I came across a song that my good friend Dr. Kanikeswaran wrote and set to music. I'll give the link to the music in the description section for you viewers. If you'll permit me, Shekharji, I just want to sing 4 lines of this wonderful song called March of the Vanaras. He had imagined, he was at a place called Anjanadri. This is a hill where Hanuman was supposed to have been born, or it's associated with Anjana, means his mom's name is Anjana. That's why his name is Anjaneya. So this is near Hampi. So he said that when he was going there, he was inspired to write the song. So with your permission, sir, I'll just sing a couple of lines here. Bhimarupa Sundara Prachanda Maruti Deenanath Devara Maduta Murati Vanaresha Sri Kapisha Suvana Shankara Vayuputra Veera Dhira Vikramakrama Daitya Vamsanashino Bhaktra Hetvinasino Raktavarna Surya Bhasha Bhakta Ramadasa Vanaresha Haratador Chit Prakasha Manju Bhasha Mandaha Ramadasa Chit Vilasa Rama Rama Ram Dhira Rupa Sundara Prachanda Maruti Deenanath Deva Ramaduta Murati. Thank you so much, sir. This was the song that So this was the song he wrote. The first time I heard it, I was like mesmerized. My goodness, what a beat and what a song he wrote. So maybe this is what they're going to sing when they march to the, through the streets of Karnataka. I hope they don't do this. You should also not overdo this, in my opinion, again, that, let it be there. You are riding on a crest. Don't make any mistakes. I think, sir, I don't know if you agree with me or not, the party from here up until the 10th, whoever makes the fewest mistakes is probably going to win this one, maybe even decisively. That's my gut feel. You tell me, sir, what you think.
Sir, well, in fact, after the Karnataka leaders like DK Shivkumar realized that this is really they have set off a bomb of sorts. I found him in the interviews he gave through the day. No, there are the other aspects of the manifesto, because the manifesto has a lot of promises. There are a lot of schemes. There are a lot of apart from those 5 or 6 promises, including 200 units of electricity being free. There are other schemes which does, because already the mood is in favor of a change. But what is going to happen is this whole thing, the fear of the Congress in terms of appeasement politics and encouragement to the PF elements like PFI, and already STBI, the political wing, had claimed in 2018 election and even in previous election, they had some kind of understanding with the Congress. Sir, a point to be remembered, the Congress High Command is still being guided by a set of young people, who are extremely, extreme left, who believe that Congress needs to take up more anti-Hindu stand to reclaim the secular space, forgetting that everybody has a vote. If you are going after that 15% vote, what about the rest 85%? I mean, this is the argument, has always been made by BJP leaders. If you are going to pursue like this, because I've seen some articles appearing recently, saying that Congress is not doing enough. Stop being soft Hindutva. Go for more anti-Hindu. I mean, show that you are really for secular, and go by what they claim to be constitution. Already people are saying, our constitution has a lot of elements which gives it more strength to anti-Hindu interpretation rather than a true secular view. Already this, this talk, this thing is there. I mean, there's a lot of currents in this regard. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying this, that every time you want to put down a Hindu group, you simply have to invoke constitution, where constitution has a lot of elements which protects minority rights, which safeguards them, promotes them. So I think the Congress, if it has to really come, really grow, revive itself, it has to return to the centrist space. That's the problem, whether it's economic policies or whether it is, issues like this. But so I think, sir, this is I think the impact will be more after Karnataka, and definitely Prime Minister will use this campaign in Telangana too. Of course, this is the first time the Prime Minister has acknowledged Bajrang Dal. That has also to be said, because no senior BJP leader ever talked about Bajrang Dal. This is the first time he has acknowledged the role of Bajrang Dal, I must say, since 2014. So this is a very interesting turn. Of course, the people, maybe in the cities, the so-called middle class or the elitist class, considers Bajrang Dal, equates it with those groups which claim themselves to be Bajrang Dal and commit all kinds of crime.
Yeah, that's always there, isn't it? These are all like, try to put the blame on somebody by, aping somebody else. So these
all you need is a saffron scarf. That's all.
So true, sir. Now, as always, Mr. Sharad Pawar has bowled yet another googly. Now he says that he wants to quit as the chief. However, there's a rank and file now clamoring that he should take back his resignation. Sir, explain to us a little bit about Pawar's son. He doesn't have a son, he has a daughter only. Grandson, granddaughter, nephew, grandnephew, grander, something else. Where are things now? What is this Pawar play going on? Should we expect 4s and 6s, or should we expect something else?
Well, sir, for almost a month, I think, a lot of things have been brewing in the Nationalist Congress Party of Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar is known as the most opportunistic, as the critics would say, and his admirers think most pragmatic of politicians we have had. I mean, he can switch sides, he has friends and foes in all camps, and he can come with any kind of permutation combination. That has been his USP. And throughout his career, if you see his beginning as an acolyte of YB Chavan, then contesting for Baramati and rising, because, sir, at a very young age, in 77, he was in Congress, but he became chief minister with the help of Janata Party after Congress lost election. Then again, he returned to Congress 10 years later when Rajiv Gandhi made him chief minister of Maharashtra. And in 99, on the issue of Sonia Gandhi being projected as prime minister, he quit Congress and formed his own party. So he can do anything. For a politician of that kind of experience and that kind of working all kinds of magic, he is finding a problem in his own family. This is the irony. There is no other threat in the party other than from the family. You have Ajit Pawar, who commands a lot of loyalty among the legislators, who is seen as a very forceful, effective leader. That is on one hand. And the other hand, you have the other Pawars. There is a Rohit Pawar, there is a Dhananjay Pawar, of course, his own daughter. Of course, some kind of a compromise was reached, when Supriya Sule was sent to Parliament. as a member of the Lok Sabha. But the pressure has been building, ever since the Mahavikas Aghadi collapsed. Ever since the Mahavikas Aghadi collapsed, or even earlier, if you remember, when Shiv Sena was driving a hard bargain and Uddhav Thackeray was insisting his son being made CM, and Sharad Pawar was also talking to BJP then. I'm talking of 2019 after Maharashtra election. That's
Yes.
a time with some kind of a consent or some kind of thing, Ajit Pawar negotiated BJP, and you had that overnight drama of being Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar being sworn in, and that government collapsed because Pawar that time, refused to agree to that proposal. And subsequently, he, dangled the carrot of chief ministership before Uddhav Thackeray, and that's how Mahavikas Aghadi was born. And sir, on Monday, an occasion where Sharad Pawar decided to revise his biography, including events from 2015, where he severely has criticized Uddhav Thackeray, being of chief minister of MVA, saying that I was surprised by the lack of acumen in Uddhav Thackeray. I was surprised that as a chief minister, he did not step out. He did not even go to Mantralaya as frequently as a chief minister should have done during that period. It's a very stinging criticism of Uddhav Thackeray. After that, I don't know if Pawar had not announced retirement, at the launch of his this revised biography, I think the talk of the town would have been, the another blow for MVA, because Sharad Pawar has lashed out at Uddhav Thackeray. I mean, already you had a problem with Ajit Pawar opposing Congress, and first you had Sharad Pawar coming out in support of Gautam Adani against Congress targeting a particular industrialist. Now this development shows that there has been a talk, like Supriya Sule's daughter has been saying there would be two bombshells. One bombshell would be in Mumbai and another would be Delhi, meaning that they are expecting an adverse verdict from Supreme Court on the split that happened in Shiv Sena and 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥𝙥 becoming a chief minister. So consequently, they expect that probably Supreme Court, one should not speculate on a expected judgment of Supreme Court, but their speculation is that probably 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪𝙥𝙥 and other MLAs who left Shiv Sena maybe debarred, or they are expecting something like that. So that is why the talk was Ajit Pawar is negotiating with BJP. Maybe the NCP legislators are itching to get back to the government, so something will happen. So the two bombshells, we saw one bombshell that has happened in, that was orchestrated, triggered in Mumbai. And sir, we have come to know that this was not such a surprise, because Pawar has discussed this, Sharad Pawar has discussed this with his Ajit Pawar, his daughter, everybody. Ajit Pawar told him, don't do it. And only the other day, on Monday, you had a huge rally of Mahavikas Aghadi. Now, sir, from what it goes is, one, Sharad Pawar has tried to prevent a split. He feared that Ajit Pawar would split NCP and probably take away MLAs, because if they are promised ministership in a new arrangement in case of an adverse verdict. Second thing, I feel he has created a situation and also tried to show to Ajit Pawar that he still commands a lot of loyalty, because the drama we saw it being enacted at YB Chavan Center yesterday, where people were crying, senior leaders were virtually in sobs, saying, please take back your resignation. And then there was a lot of back and forth of meetings, and finally Pawar saying, I will consider. But then people who are close to Pawar say, I don't think he is going to take back. And Ajit Pawar even, tried to chide those legislators, supporters who were, crying, saying, what is this? Don't we see what has happened in Congress? Sonia still remains in command. Pawar will still remain in command. We will have a working president, because that is the formula that is being worked out. That Sharad Pawar will remain some kind of a patron-in-chief, and Ajit Pawar would probably be the working president. Supriya Sule and Praful Patel may get some role to expand NCP outside Maharashtra. I do not know where. And then you have other leaders being accommodated here and there. So some formula is being worked out. But important point is, sir, now after you read the biography, the revised biography, what is going to be the chemistry between Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray? We already know what is the chemistry between Congress and NCP, and what is the chemistry between Shiv Sena and Congress. So just at a time when we are hearing so much about opposition alliance, we are hearing about Nitish Kumar, and Sharad Pawar was considered an important, not just a player. I mean, could have been an architect. Or Sharad Pawar, some people are speculating, probably Shekhar Pawar is playing, a tactical withdrawal now so that in the event of a hung parliament next year, he could emerge as a consensus prime minister, because Maratha being prime minister is a big thing, just as any Yadav becoming prime minister or anybody else becoming prime minister. Of course, Nitish hope is that he will be the chosen person, since he is doing the lot of spade work. So there are a lot of speculations and lot of I would say built-in agendas involved. But overall picture is, it's not good news for particularly the Congress, which was hoping that some opposition would be built up and Modi could have a very, very tough time in 2024.
Two or three things that come to my mind, Shekharji. One is that, people don't seem to remember this. Mr. Pawar got into a huge controversy. He wanted to open a company. He had a company in Britain. It was registered in Companies House, and he increased its equity from nothing to almost $100 billion. The investment he wanted to bring in was 60 billion pounds. Then somebody must have told him, where did you get 60 billion pounds? That's what his net worth must be, sir. So then what happened is they pulled it down. But I have the record somewhere. I have to go and look at my records. But, then he went and fired the people who were the other board directors in that company. Lots of hush up and all that stuff. Said that they didn't take my permission before putting my name and all that stuff. So there is some cloud about how much his net worth is. If he had so much money, then he should have just bought out the entire MVA people into NCP and then, become the chief minister himself. Why give room for Uddhav, sir? I don't understand that part of the game plan.
So it was sheer. No, yeah. Because with just 53 MLAs, he couldn't. 57 MLAs, he couldn't do much. Because the 2019 election did not give him that boost, because NCP has been on the decline. So rise of BJP under Prime Minister Modi somewhat impacted Sharad Pawar's influence in Maharashtra too. So that is the reason why he had to. It was a case of a survival for NCP. That is why he had to prevent Devendra Fadnavis returning as PM. Also, sir, Devendra Fadnavis in his first term did a lot of cleanup of the cooperatives, where a lot of Pawar acolytes were, gradually eased out and new people were brought in from the same community. So you have had a lot of change. Of course, Pawar still commands loyalty among the cooperative leaders in rural Maharashtra. One cannot deny that. But there has been a change. The idea is to throw up new leaders. And after a series of ED raids on all those close financial managers of Sharad Pawar, whether it is Anil Deshmukh or even close friends of Ajit Pawar, no doubt, Sharad Pawar has seen that his aides are under tremendous pressure from the investigative agencies. So that has been there. And so, therefore, in terms of clout, of course, Pawar's rise is also known for in terms of his ability to mobilize financial resources in our politics. So that is not, and that is how he encouraged Mamata even to split from Congress. And he has been very large-hearted when it coming to helping all these breakaway groups of Congress, forming their own units and owing loyalty to him directly, because his ultimate unsaid ambition is to be prime minister. But given his health is, and I believe this time it was his wife, Pratibha Pawar, who persuaded him. Okay, you can still hope for your ambitions even without holding any responsibility. So, but this is going to be interesting drama, sir. This has taken away a lot of sheen in terms of what is happening to these parties which were considered to be the main bulwark of a grand opposition against Modi. This is going to be very interesting. Now, the important point is he remains a top icon of the Maratha community. And that is the reason why, you have seen Prime Minister, the BJP, always treating him with kid glove, even though, agencies have been, hacking through their, the financial support base. Under Modi's dispensation. But at the same time, Sharad Pawar as an entity in terms of an icon for Marathi community is undisputed. He's seen as the tallest leader after YB Chavan or Vasant Patil of those era. So therefore, this is going to be a very interesting turn, and we'll see where things move forward. Probably the Supreme Court judgment on the split in Shiv Sena, that could also be a trigger, or it could settle things. But definitely, we are going to see a big transition in NCP and very interesting turn to politics in this western state.
Yes, indeed. And viewers, one of you have pointed out that the link for the song is still not there. I promise you I'll put it right after this thing ends. I forgot to do that before coming online. I was cleaning up a few other things. So it was forgetful on my part, but I will put the link. I have it with me. It's just that now I can't get out of this to put that thing. So please bear with me. As soon as this program finishes, within the next couple of minutes after that, I'll have that link up and running. Sir, there are other, I don't know what Haitian, I don't know what to say it in English, maybe hope floating balloons or something like that. There are people saying that perhaps Pawar will be made the president. Maybe Modi has made a deal with him, because Modi always, or at least few times, he has said that Pawar is his political mentor. Remember that he graced him with a Padma Vibhushan, and that raised a lot of eyebrows. And then just to make it sound as if it's a normal thing, he also graced some other people with Padma Vibhushan. In my opinion, that kind of dilutes some of the importance of some of these Padma awards. That's just my personal opinion. But this thing, do you think he might become the next president?
Well, I don't think so, sir. I don't, because if the current dispensation were to win 2024 election, and Prime Minister Modi would still look at people, for giving a greater representation to either to unrepresented communities at the top. Now, even for Sharad Pawar, given his health, I do not see a situation, unless, of course, we have to see what kind of numbers are thrown up after Lok Sabha 2024. What will be the electoral college composition when the next elections, presidential elections, are held? But for Modi, Sharad Pawar is important for a simple reason, because he represents the honor, dignity, and prestige of Maratha community. So that's something BJP covets, because BJP hasn't had such senior, tall Maratha leaders, though they are grooming several of them. So the attraction, I would say, is this, that it's not Sharad Pawar per se, it is that his huge following that he commands, the respect he commands among the community. So that is what attracts Modi. But then, sir, politics, we do not know what is going to happen, what kind of numbers are thrown up. We are talking of numbers in Karnataka, but similar thing could happen in 2024. But Sharad Pawar has always, blow hot, blow cold. He has backed Prime Minister on agriculture policies, and he was not very strongly against the farmers bill, the farm bill. There are occasions he has supported him. There are few occasions where you would see him opposing him. Of course, at the same time, he doesn't want to be seen as leaving the secular camp as such. That is why we have had stories coming since yesterday that Sharad Pawar did all this to prevent Ajit Pawar from joining with BJP, to prevent hijacking the party towards the BJP. This is all things coming. But then power is a strong glue, sir, and power is a strong attractive force. And any political party, and given the kind of gathering the NCP has had in Maharashtra, without power, it is very difficult to sustain. So therefore, everything is going to depend on numbers and where power is.
Shekharji, every time I mentioned the name of Ajit Pawar, I'm always, I'm smiling because I'm reminded of a joke. So there's a US senator who, becomes a friend with a visiting Indian member of parliament who has come to study the political system in United States. So he comes to DC, they spend a few days together. And then the senator, on the weekend, he says, now I'm going home to my constituency. Would you like to come with me? So the MP says, yeah, I would like to come and see where you live, how you do and all that stuff. So he takes the Indian MP to his constituency. And then, they have had a nice sumptuous dinner, or I should say lunch. And then they're smoking a cigar, stuff that you do after you have had a lunch. So then the senator opens the window curtain, and he points out there's a dam there, and he points out to the Indian member of parliament, and he says, "You see that?" He says, "Yeah, I see it. 10%." So what he was trying to say was that he took a 10% cut while the dam was being built. A few months elapse. Then what happens is there is a return visit. The senator comes to Indian parliament and they spend a few days together. Now it's the turn of the Indian member of parliament to invite the senator to come to his home constituency. So they go to his home constituency, and there is a sumptuous Indian lunch. And after that, they are sitting. And then the Indian MP opens the curtain, and this house is by the side of a river. And they both look outside, and the senator also looks outside. And then he has a puzzled expression on his face. And the Indian MP says, "See that? 100%. He never built the dam." This is what I'm reminded of every time somebody mentions Ajit Pawar's name. So, but be that as it may, I think the NCP is perhaps one or two with DMK in terms of how scientifically they are corrupt. People tell me, and I don't know if it's true or not, sir, that every high-rise building built during a certain period, you had to give one flag to Pawar. Otherwise, forget it. That was what it was. That is how this man is supposed to have made a lot of money. Again, who am I to say all these things? This is all hearsay evidence. And clearly he owned the sugar barons. There was sugar pricing. That's where you make a lot of money also. So the man is extremely corrupt. And the best thing about Pawar, this is the best, personally again, he never said he is not corrupt. So anyway, best of luck to NCP. We'll see how things play out. Lastly, DMK. DMK has been getting a lot of heat from PTR's audio leaks and the raids that have happened on G Square, the revelations of 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗, and they've been trying to deflect people's attention by coming out with some rapid fire laws passing. And one of them was to increase the work day from 8 hours to 12 hours. Now, Shekharji, tell us what happened after that.
Sir, it was on the last day of Tamil Nadu Assembly session, that I think on April 21st, an amendment was made to the Factory Act of 1948 to allow for 12-hour shift, flexible hours, and the plea that was made on the floor of the House by the government ministers was this would attract more investment, basically, and this would be intended for the IT industry, because Apple has been calling for that kind of a flexibility, particularly the manufacturers like Foxconn and Pegatron, who make high-end.
They have a 24-hour cycle, sir. They should be acting morning, afternoon, evening shift, something like that.
They have been saying that if we want to set up shops, already Karnataka did it in February.
I see.
Karnataka has amended that act. Of course, this is part of that labor proposals, the labor law revisions that are needed to attract more investment, because investors have been saying, particularly global investors have been saying, that your labor laws are a problem. But then allies of the DMK, being the proletariat kind, particularly CPM, CPI, and all others, and they strongly opposed it on the floor of the House. And subsequently, there were murmurs that if you're going to persist with this law, we leave the alliance, because we can't betray our our workers. So this was beginning to be getting very, very serious. So then Stalin met all those representatives and said, okay, I will take it back. So on May 1st, addressing the Labor Day function, International Labor Day function, Stalin actually claimed credit for withdrawing it. First they claimed credit for bringing in a reform, which they said would attract a lot of investment, bring in, particularly IT industry and non-leather shoe manufacturers, the global kind, who also want to set up units, big footwear giants. So, that is how this amendment was, sold on the floor of the House. Now, Stalin said, look, it takes courage to bring an amendment like this, but it also takes courage to withdraw the amendment. And he also said, we are not like Prime Minister Modi, who allowed an agitation for 1 year. We did it quickly. So therefore, we are great.
So a couple of things that the CPI, CPIM should consider. First of all, it is not at all unusual now to have 4-day weeks with each work day being 10 hours. So 10 times 4 is 40 hours. This is in vogue in LA because of the traffic congestion. It's so difficult. It takes so long to go from place A to place B in LA. They said that, well, we are going to make it 4-day work week and people take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So this is one solution that they found. The other thing, of course, is what Mr. Aam Aadmi Party had tried to do, alternate, odd even scheme where cars only with odd numbers, last digit could be on one day of the week and even on the other day and so on and so forth. So today, the problem for companies like Foxconn, for example, is people have to come from long distances. We are not talking about somebody who can live close to the campus. Foxconn campus will be definitely outside the city because they need lot of space and they need a lot of other ancillary industry space and things like that. It cannot be in the middle of the city, which means commute is going to be a challenge. They may have to even have private buses to pick up people from various points. So keeping all this in mind, I think 12-hour days actually makes sense. Work days make sense in India. If people are willing to sign up for it, let them sign up. Instead of objecting to it, CPI and CPIM could have said that the extra 4 hours have a slightly higher salary, like overtime.
No, right? that was mentioned by the government that they would insist on people, overtime be more than the current rates, almost close to the double. I mean, this was even mentioned. So the bigger problem is, I think this is where we should worry all of us is, Tamil Nadu has having a high unemployment figures. So the idea was if you get these kind of companies to open, units in Tamil Nadu, particularly in western or in the northern parts of Tamil Nadu, it would open up a lot of job avenues and also support a lot of ancillary industries. The whole that was the purpose behind the state government's move, and this move did not happen in a huff. There was a lot of discussions between the industry minister, the other ministers, and as well as bureaucrats. A lot of deliberation went into bringing this amendment as a step towards attracting investment. But unfortunately, it has again fallen. Just as the farm bill fell to the people who are against change, and similarly, the same thing happened. And I think the problem will be, look, Karnataka has already amended it. I do not know, because even Congress manifesto has declared we will, remove or repeal all those anti people laws, whatever. So I think on one hand, we are talking of, how about our unemployment. We are only still thinking of doles. The Congress manifesto is full of doles, 3,000 rupees for graduates, 1,500 rupees for diploma holders. We are not talking of actual job creation. And without investment, you are not going to create jobs. I mean, if you want to shift more people from agriculture to industry, you need to attract investment. But again, we are caught in that, what I should say, we are victim of our own propaganda and our own philosophy and ideology, little realizing that what is the answer you have for future generations. And Tamil Nadu has done well, sir. Under Murasoli Bharat, you really created a Detroit. Marmalai Nagar and, the outskirts of Chennai became a Detroit of, it was considered the second Detroit because so many car manufacturers came. That is all thanks to industrial minister Murasoli Bharat, who was the minister in Vajpayee's government. So many things have happened. Jayalalitha too encouraged investment. But this kind of a backstep, I feel, is really worrisome for Tamil Nadu. And sir, today states have to compete with one another. You have Gujarat, which is moving, heaven and earth to get investments. So this is, and even states like Rajasthan are very keen to get money in so that it can create local jobs. So that's the problem a ruling party like DMK should worry about, rather than pleasing these piggy riders.
Yes, indeed, and very, very strange that that has happened. But we'll see what happens next. Let's take some questions, Shekharji, if you don't mind.
Please.
First one from Rahul Rathod. Is Ajit Pawar making alliance with BJP? Is he going to be the next CM of Maharashtra, as reported by a few media?
What we know, Rahulji, so far is Ajit Pawar is open to an alliance with BJP because he thinks that is the only way NCP can return to power. Whether he will be the next chief minister, I doubt very much, unless what is the fate of 𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 if there is a judgment, if there is an adverse judgment from Supreme Court. I mean, we cannot make any guesses on the Supreme Court judgment. We should not. But at the same time, definitely Ajit Pawar is not very favorably inclined towards Congress, which has a leader like Nana Patole, who is dead against even alliance partners. Forget the opposition. So but then Nana Patole enjoys the blessings of Rahul Gandhi. Sir, this is the problem. When we are talking of opposition alliance, Nitish Kumar is trying to rework Sonia's formula of one opposition candidate against BJP or NDA nominee in all the Lok Sabha constituencies. These are the ground realities. You have leaders who cannot sit with anybody. And even Rahul Gandhi may be secretly ambitioning the hope that one day, okay, for time being, we go with the so-called opposition and all that. Once we revive ourselves, then why should we treat all these fellows with dignity or anything? So these contradictions. But definitely Ajit Pawar seems very inclined toward BJP, though he keeps saying, I could be, anybody from NCP could be chief minister after the next election. And next assembly elections in Maharashtra are not due till November 2024, which is after the parliamentary election. So you're going to see a lot of water, washing the shores of Maharashtra, before all these crystallize to a point where, but definitely there is a split in NCP. There is a split, and Ajit Pawar is very aggressive to take control. Sir, yesterday he was the only leader in the meeting who pulled up people for trying to make a kind of a soft drama, saying, look, everybody has to retire someday. Sharad Pawar has only said that he is retiring, but he is not leaving us. He has 3 more years to go in Rajya Sabha, and he was the lone speaker. And when people wanted his daughter to speak, Ajit Pawar intervened and said, as her elder brother, I tell her to keep quiet. I mean, this was all before us 24, over the live TV. And I am also surprised that Sharad Pawar allowed a book function, which he knew was being covered live, to show the entire ongoings of the internal tussle in his party. First time, sir.
Very strange. Yes. Next one, please. Srinivas Jaiprakash wants to know, Namaste, sir. With 9 state elections this year and the big general elections next year, what is BJP strategy against freebies? Will BJP resist the temptations of announcing freebies itself?
Well, sir, BJP has adopted I would say, a wordplay. They say that when we are doing it, it's not freebie, it is welfareism. There is a difference between trying to help the poor, and the other thing is just, emptying the coffers. But I think, sir, if parties are going to compete on, I'll give you this and give you this, BJP will find it extremely difficult. Though Prime Minister Modi is, has been strongly resisting even ideas from the BJP leaders. We have to give something. That is why you find the BJP manifesto in Karnataka is markedly different from the Congress manifesto. Yes, there are a lot of concessions for the poor, but the idea is as a tackling poverty rather than just doling it out for sake of winning election. They are trying to make a distinctions, but hard critics would say it's just a wordplay.
Next question, please. Ashwin Ravi wants to know, sir, do you think the AHINDA plan is working for Siddaramaiah in Karnataka?
Well, sir, that is one of the reasons, apart from the anti-incumbency factors we talked, that Siddaramaiah is seen as a very, very strong political leader who has, crafted his own social base, and which is, the Adivasis, Alpsankak, picture backward. Of course, BJP has also been making inroads into it. I mean, that is why there is a, in all the surveys that we are seeing, Siddaramaiah is seen as more favored chief minister, in this election rather than anybody else. Because DK Shivakumar is also further down. And I saw one of the surveys put out by one of the channels where Siddaramaiah was shown as more preferred chief ministerial face among the voters this time. And after that, probably Baswaraj come, and after that could be Kumaraswamy, and then down in the list is DKS.
Interesting. Next question, please. C.A. Vishwanathan wants to know, is BJP really 40% Sarkar in Karnataka, or is it a made-up story?
Well, sir, when I talk to people on the ground and they tell me it is not the percentage, I mean, it could be anything, but definitely that the commitment that one expected from the BJP under Prime Minister Modi, particularly in Karnataka, as that commitment was really wanting. Because when there were complaints of, of this kind, when contractor associations were made this allegation, somewhere, the BJP leadership did not take strong heed, was not seen as acting on these complaints, which upset a lot of people, because people expected a party to be a party with a difference. I mean, that did not happen. That is why it has been easy for Congress to say that, pay CM, this and that. I mean, percentage one does not know, but some of the leaders, one contractor committed suicide. So one contractor even, so they could be motivated by opposition, but definitely, sir, what I hear is a lot of these stories are true, that the level of corruption did indeed went up in the last 5 years, and the party leadership was not seen acting enough. They could have ordered inquiries, they could have shown they were alive to these complaints. That they did not do. That has proved to be very costly in this election. Though, there is a high regard for Prime Minister Modi, and they feel that BJP at the center may be, much more effective in going for transparent policy making. But down in the state, they feel that, things have been very bad, and all, particularly the turncoats becoming ministers, they making hay, while the sun shines. I mean, definitely there has been, I would say, and also the civic conditions in Bangalore, which has been managed by BJP for a long time. People have been fed up. That is the reason why, sir, today the anti-incumbency plus the perception, in the battle of perception, I think BJP is finding it is actually swimming upstream.
Absolutely. And people say that it's not a party with a difference, it's party with indifference. So Ruben Loganathan wants to know why the Supreme Court has not made any judgments about parties promising freebies when the SC has interfered in many other issues, especially affecting the central government.
Well, the Supreme Court did entertain a petition in this regard, and they made some observations. I think that was under the previous Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana. But after that, Supreme Court also felt that these are areas where it could not just come with directives, but notices were issued, and we did see some hearings in this regard in the Supreme Court.
Next question, please. Jagannath Das wants to know, will Kerala story impact Karnataka elections?
Well, in the areas where things are already polarized, this story is will definitely have an impact. Of course, there are a few days left. I do not know whether the film is going to get screened there. But the stories of this kind, particularly areas bordering Kasargod, and a lot of those people who went and joined the ISIS have been from that part of either North Karnataka or North Kerala. So this does add strength to that narrative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And viewers, we are going to have an evening program with Sri T.G. Mohandas on this very subject, Kerala story. So do come back and don't miss that one. 13 Padma wants to know, on the release of Congress manifesto, the earlier predictions of a hung assembly are likely to change and BJP is likely to sweep. Your take on that?
Well, I still do not expect any party to sweep the elections, but definitely, Congress seems to be more comfortable. Maybe little above 100, and BJP, racing fast to get closer to that. So the scenario which I see today is probably Congress gets 106 or 107 or close to 110. Then it becomes easier to reach the midpoint, that is 113, which they could do by either getting people from Janata Dal Secular, or if the Congress figure is just over around 100. It all depends on what is the striking distance, striking distance, to the halfway mark. It depends on that.
Yes, indeed. Chaitanya Takle, thank you so much for writing it in Devanagari. I've been asking him because I could never figure out how his last name was pronounced. Is the census getting delayed because of negative publicity against National Population Register, or is it just because of COVID?
Sir, one was the COVID reason, but the second reason is with the parliamentary elections next year. So I do not think the central government, in fact, they made it very clear. In fact, they were supposed to do a revision by, a kind of a thing that had a record that had to be readied by June to be handed over for starting a census. That got postponed. So with that means that census is not going to happen till the parliamentary elections are over in 2024.
Next question, please. Bubble Bobby wants to know, Bubble Bobble, is so many elections all the time are so expensive and constant campaigning also takes ministers away from governance, making our democracy inefficient. What happened to BJP plan of one nation, one election?
Well, sir, that has been a pursuit of Prime Minister, but then most parties opposed because for the simple reason they feared that this would benefit BJP. Maybe this idea may come up later if when the opposition feels that it will work to them. But any time, sir, this problem with this one nation, one election is some state assemblies will have to go to polls earlier, and some state assemblies will get an extended term. But there are difficulties in working out this. I think at the moment, all the parties are thinking of, one election at a time,
Next question, please. I think, Ruben, let's make this the last question because we are close to 1 hour. NewsX channel saying Sharad Pawar has backtracked on his announcement yesterday. If true, this was expected by a lot of people.
No, he has not exactly backtracked. He has said, give me 2-3 days, I will think over, I need some time. I mean, basically...
This is pressure cooker valve, sir. It just lets off steam and then comes back again. Thank you so much, Shekhar ji. It was a wonderful session today. Viewers, we are going to try and make this a regular occurrence. Middle of the week, Shekhar ji will come at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. Thank you so much for your support. We would like you to like the program as soon as it starts. You know, Shekhar ji's quality, his work ethic, he is prepared for these things. He was so prepared. I mean, you can see the description. There's a lot of stuff in there. We are always trying to give you the most accurate, factual news. And as always, it's a pleasure having you, Shekhar ji. Please support us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notification and also follow us on Twitter. Shekhar Iyer ji's Twitter handle is Shekhar Iyer 9 and mine is Sri Iyer 1 and PGurus handle is PGurus 1. Thanks once again, Shekhar ji. See you on Saturday. Namaskar.
Thank you.